playing with conspiracies is that at some point you're either going to have to put up or shut up. And now that the Trump administration, even though Bongino and Patel and others really trafficked in the Epstein files, right? And the assumption was that something was done to him, and it's because of the lists, what he had around him. And then the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, claimed months ago that they were going to release tens of thousands of incriminating documents. Remember, she said, they're right here on my desk. And it never came. And then this past Monday, right? And that's an intentional day, right? We don't want you really to pay attention. Trump's DOJ and FBI released a memo saying, no client list. No evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. And he killed himself. Period. This is exactly what so many in MAGA did not expect to hear nor want to hear. So let's discuss on the political and the personal side. We got Liz Wheeler, conservative commentator, host of the Liz Wheeler Show, absolutely invested in this and expected a different outcome. And joining by phone, that's the only way he does it. I've spoken to him before because he's afraid that people are going to come after him because he's Epstein's brother. Mark, who does not buy the DOJ's findings that his brother committed suicide. Liz, it's good to see you. Mark, thank you for being on the phone. Liz, Bondi says they're on my desk. Now she doesn't really seem to have a good answer. Did she mean the client list was on her desk, or was that just something figurative? How do you explain this?
Well, Pam Bondi, Attorney General, said today herself that that's not what she meant when she said the words, the client list is on my desk, but you heard the words as well as I did. She said the client list is on my desk, and that wasn't true. So it's a little hard to square what she said then with what she's saying now. That's the biggest problem with this whole story.
She lied then or she lied now?
For President Trump because they wanted justice. We want justice. There was a lot of wrongdoing that was inflicted on the American people under the previous administration, both by Biden staffers and by deep state government bureaucratic employees, from Russiagate to the impeachments to parents being called terrorists because they didn't want critical race theory or trans ideology being taught to their children, to January 6th, to there's all kinds of different ways that MAGA, you can call President Trump supporters, anybody who dissented from Biden, were abused by the Biden administration, by the intel community, by the FBI, by the DOJ. And we voted for Trump because we wanted justice. And justice involves actually holding accountable the people who committed that wrongdoing. So now we see Pam Bondi. I was at the White House that day when Pam Bondi gave out those white binders. I was one of the ones who received that binder. So when you say before I'm invested in this, yeah, I am invested in this because what she did made me look like I was adding to some kind of clickbait weirdo influencer thing online, which I don't do. People that watch me know I'm very prudent. I don't engage in hot takes. And I gave her the benefit of the doubt. You give the benefit of the doubt to people on your own side. I thought, okay, I don't know why she gave us those binders if she didn't have good stuff in those binders, but she said there was another story. A whistleblower told her there were truckloads of documents. Hopefully she'll produce. And I gave her time. I was patient. I gave her the benefit of the doubt. But here's the thing, Chris. That day in the White House, Pam Bondi bragged about making that cover sheet on that binder that you're showing on the screen. That cover sheet that reads the most transparent administration in history, Epstein Files Phase 1. She told us she made that. She printed it. She put it in that binder. How can you square that behavior with what she posted on the Department of Justice website on Sunday saying, actually, there's nothing here. All the things, all the incongruencies in the narrative that you've pointed out, that you've observed with your own eyes, it's not true. And we're not providing any evidence to you to show you that what you might have believed is not actually substantiated by evidence. You're just supposed to take my word for it after she had told us something different multiple times. This is why I've come out and said President Trump shouldn't tolerate this kind of behavior. Pam Bondi has become a liability to him because people care about this story. They care not so much because they care about the Epstein list itself, but because they care about justice. That's what they voted for. They voted for justice. They voted for transparency, and they're not getting either of those things with this kind of unforced error from Pam Bondi.
Oh, I don't think it's an unforced error. I think it's absolutely intentional. And they believe that you guys will just shut up and go along with whatever they say. We'll see how it plays